This is Lorraine.
And Jennifer.
And oh, look, this is another video.
We've only been doing this for how long?
I think we've been doing these lives every Friday for about 3.5 years now. So we've certainly been exploring different formats of video. And we've certainly seen a lot of changes with the influence of TikTok creeping into LinkedIn and creeping into Facebook with more reels. And on the one hand, I like video. And on the other hand, I'm getting a little bored.
Yeah, I was just sitting there trying to think on my feet how long TikTok has been around and really the TikTokification of short form video.
Mhm.
What has it been? 3 years, 4 years?
It has been, I know TikTok has been around probably 4 or 5 years, but it didn't really get a lot of momentum until maybe about 3 years ago, where you really started seeing a lot of creators and stuff.
Yeah.
And, on the one hand, you're sitting there, you're thinking, well, I'm never going to go on TikTok. And of course, with the ban, you may never have to. But the influence of TikTok and the shift to short form video is
Yeah.
pervasive. It is on every social platform, which is good. There are a lot of free, cheap, easy tools. My personal favorite is Opus Pro, but part of the challenge, I think, is that all the video is starting to look alike.
Yeah, I mean, definitely fatigued by
Mhm.
it. I'm fatigued by it. I'm annoyed sometimes. I like look up and I'm like, why did I just spend the last hour scrolling reels? But
Mhm.
I do. And yeah, so I think as marketers, you have to start thinking about that. Like, are people fatigued with what you're putting out?
Well, are they noticing it? Does it look like everybody's doing the same videos? They're because we're using the same tools. You start to see a lot of the two heads with a little bit of text in the middle, and your video looks like my video, looks like everybody else's video. And I think the challenge for marketers is, how do I break that? How do I make my video look a little different?
Yeah, yeah. I think the other challenge is being that short form video is so short and it lives for like one day. There's also the challenge of being efficient in creating them because you don't have all the time in the world to make like these perfect videos every single day.
No, I really rely very heavily on my templates. I've got some frames, so I can go to Opus Pro. I can give it this conversation, and I do. You'll see clips of this conversation coming out over the next few weeks. You might see one pop up 3 months from now,
Yeah.
but I let Opus Pro clip it, but then I take those shorts and drop them into a frame. And so the videos look like everybody else's, but they don't, because they've got a little bit of branding, a little bit of customization. I love some of the fun special effects that you guys are doing at the beginning of your videos that just look different, and literally they make me stop as I'm scrolling, and that's what you want.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's actually good old video like 101. When you're creating a video, you don't want to just have somebody just talking. You want to have things flying in, you want to like change up, you want to have transitions. And so um some tools, CapCut is what we actually use. That's the tool, and it allows us to kind of pull out and create some movement into the video that might have been like a stagnant video clip that you were taking from something else. So that just makes it easier and different.
Absolutely. And, one of the other things I think is that we start to fall into this mindset that everything has to be video. And one of the things I'm seeing, particularly on LinkedIn, is a resurgence of other types of media. Yes, videos are great, and there's a lot of them on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Uh, but I started re-experimenting with carousels. And on that platform, carousels are working.
Yes. I'm very strategic in that I try to do a graphic with one post. I'm
Mhm.
trying to do a LinkedIn article with one
Mhm.
post. I've got a video with another, and I've got a short form video. So I'm
Mhm.
actually trying to get several different types of format just to break up my own feed and that it's not the same thing over and over.
Absolutely. In one piece of content, you can do all of that. I do a 10-minute video. I get the transcript. I get a summary. I let an AI tool pull out 3 to 5 points. And you know what? Those 3 to 5 little tidbits become a great carousel.
Yeah.
And on LinkedIn, they like carousels. But you know what? On Facebook, they really like video. So
Yeah.
take your 5 images and animate them and using a tool like you discussed.
Well, another strategy we've taken with a client is they do not want to be on video,
Mhm.
do not like it, have no desire to do it. So we actually use Notebook, Google, and we did an audio version of some of their blog posts, and then we cut out little snippets, and then we put it on graphics
Mhm.
with the captions across. So there's no person talking, but you're still hearing and they do really well.
Absolutely. I work with a personal trainer and I'm doing a lot of marketing for her. The problem is when we get together, she's usually coming from the gym. So she does not look ready for video. No, I mean she looks so we just record audio and then I find images and graphics. And again, you get a little that bit of animation. And if the video is 15 to 30 seconds,
Yeah.
even 45 seconds, people will watch the change of pictures.
Yeah.
And you got a little picture, you get a little text, you have the audio track going.
I think the important part that you're doing there is that you focused first on what their strong suit was
Mhm.
and that you didn't focus on, well, short form video and video is important. And while I strongly think that a lot of people could actually do short form video or do video when they think they can't, so I'm not
Mhm.
advocating for not doing it.
Mhm.
But I'm advocating for if you're more comfortable in a podcast setting and not doing video, something's better than nothing.
Absolutely. And again, if you ask me, I love audio. I That's how I process information in the world. And so I love a good podcast. I love an audio podcast. I loved when my podcast was just audio because I could record in my pajamas.
Yeah,
But I recognize that I need to do the different formats and that there is a place for each of them.
yeah,
There
yeah,
are people in the world that just want to put a podcast, put their headset in and go to the gym or get in their car. And I want to be there for them.
yeah, yeah,
There are people that want to read your article. They want to be able to read it and then go back and refer to something that they read.
right.
You're there for them.
Yeah. So
That
what's other ways that you fight fatigue with whether it's video or what have you? I think in general in marketing there's fatigue that goes on.
Oh, I think there is, and I think there is a point at which branding goes too far, where branding becomes boring. You have to have consistency so that you are recognizable as you,
Yeah.
but you have to have some flexibility in that format. So I have some standard graphics, but I mix up the colors a little bit. I have a series of colors that I use. I will alternate doing single person videos and double person videos so they look different.
Yeah. I
Um,
remember one time you gave a recommendation which really stuck with me was sometimes you got to go off brand
mhm.
and do something that's totally not something you would do and it'll shock people and be like, oh, okay.
Mhm.
So I started posting on my LinkedIn and I'm still kind of testing it. I started getting a little bit more personal.
Mhm.
I started
Yeah.
some personal posts out and they're doing well, and it's not personal like this is all my drama that's going on. It's
Mm-mm.
just more related to, like, maybe I did a gardening post and I was
Mhm.
like, okay, that's me. Um,
Absolutely. Well, and I we are we are complete people. We are not just our business. I love to take pretty photographs, and I just got back from vacation, and I always like to. My photos do well on LinkedIn and on Instagram. I'm sorry, on Facebook and Instagram, but I always like to try to find one post that I can just take one of my really favorite photos, but then have a lesson that I can tie to it. I one of my favorite posts was after I did a distillery tour in uh, Scotland, and of course, the tour itself was great, but also that particular post really worked well. And I haven't quite found the hook yet for my last vacation, but it's coming.
what about like short form versus long form copy? Have you ever seen like fatigue with that and changing that up?
I think that you need to take lessons from old style journalists. In the old days, if you wrote for a newspaper, your first paragraph had everything. If all I did was read the first paragraph, I got the story. And then the subsequent paragraphs gave me more details. And the last paragraphs were really almost worthless because I knew most of the time they would get cut because there wouldn't be enough column space for them.
Yeah,
And so I think when you write long form content, you need to really focus on your title, and you really need to focus on that first paragraph. Write it, write the whole thing, and then go back and rewrite your first paragraph because
yeah,
there's a good chance people won't go any further.
yeah,
Then underneath that, add more, add more. Well, now you've got this nice piece of long form.
yeah.
The first paragraph can stand on its own as a social share with a cool graphic.
I think that's an important distinction because I find in my own behavior on social media when I start to come across long content,
Mhm.
I don't want to read it. Like I
Mhm.
just keep scrolling.
Yeah, so that's where that first paragraph, if it's tight and you've got your key message, maybe I read the rest, maybe I don't. That middle piece should be kind of some quick little pull key ideas. You had an article recently that I thought was really good because you had kind of headings I could skip through really fast, and each one of those long form, but each one of those could be its own standalone tip at some point down the road.
Yeah, that is by design. I'm trying to make it scannable because I know people don't want to read long,
Mm,
and so I'm trying to keep the engagement on the website. So that's kind of an SEO tip.
abs- absolutely, absolutely. You know, right about now, you might be getting tired because we're kind of over our 10 minutes, but I thought this was a fun conversation. And if you are looking for some help, if you're tired of your marketing, if you'd like some tips, if you'd like some ideas, reach out to one of us. We would love to chat with you.
All right, take care.
Bye now.